Somebody stole my plant. I guess it's not my plant and it wasn't necessarily stolen, but it's somewhere else, which is why you see a different plant here than you usually do in the other episodes. I think the other plant is just a tad bit taller. I don't even know if it has these purple greenish leaves. It's fake plants. Anyway, but I like the set. I got this little plant over here. I don't know if this has always been here, but I got this plant here. I got this light. This light just adds a warm tone. And while my lights are kind of warm, they're a good mixture of warm and cool. Light adds just another warm tone of colors. Got these colors back here. And that's just to say that my set is magnificent, because this is not a podcast studio. This is a recording studio. You can't see it, but over here there are mics and speakers and computers and the boards and such. So this is not made for that, but I just, I like the ambiance in here, so I use it. Anywho, welcome back to Outside the Art. I'm Hasim, and today we're talking about monetizing your creative content. That's just gonna look like strategies and tips on how to turn your passion into some profit. Stay tuned. So yeah, essentially, I want to talk about the various ways on how to on what content can be monetized, how to monetize your content, what that may look like for different types of creators, as well as we're going to touch on some marketing, just because I do marketing, of course. What are the different monetization options for creatives? Simply put, you can sell products. That may look like you taking a cool picture and you put it on your site as a print and you sell it for $20, $30 or whatever prints are going for these days. That might look like you making the design for a t-shirt and selling it in that way, but just selling products. I've sold products before. I'm a big fan of it. I think as a consumer, I like having a tangible thing I can hold and show off to people. So it's like, oh, boom, I got this fire tote bag that I got from this creator. I can show off. I can put it together with the fit. That's just my thing. Selling products would also look like streaming for artists, because I guess people can buy your albums and songs, or people can just stream them. So you're still kind of selling a product there. And then that's really simple. You got selling products, you got selling your services. That will look like people hiring you to perform somewhere. If you make music, people hiring you to take pictures, hiring you to do videos, do the video stuff for their podcast setup, like I should hire somebody to do, because it just be me in here. And it's a beautiful setup, but it just be me in here. And it's like, somebody's gonna eventually take over the job. Another cool way I want to see creatives make more money is like subscription or like membership-based models. I think just having it set so it's like, oh, people can pay you $10 a month, whether it's, I don't know, people are using OF, people are using Patreon. You can do it on like YouTube and Instagram and stuff like that now. But people paying for access to a lot of your work, I think it's the way of the future, as well as I think it'll help foster communities better. Like a lot of people I know are making like Discord groups, and you may have to like pay on Patreon to get in the Discord group. But like once somebody's in the Discord, it's like you can send them 20,000 notifications. I'm in a bunch of Discords and it's nonstop notifications to the point where I want to turn it off. You got this Discord, you could pretty much create your own community and whatever that looks like. For photographers, for like one of my favorite photographers, Valandis, that looks like a page where, here's the link to the newest YouTube video. Here's where the other photographers who are in the Discord show off their stuff, etc. It's like, here are some tips. Here's like, oh, there's a giveaway, so you got to come and put a message in on this board. And just people there's so many things you can touch on as a creative in your Discord or whatever your community looks like, to keep people there and to keep people engaged. Also, something that Uncle Snoop is doing is like people are making their own apps where you have to pay to listen to my music on this app. And while for a smaller artist, I don't really see that as tangible, but I like the idea of where it's going, right? Because eventually it's like YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, blah, blah, blah. They're not paying anything really. It'd be like a tenth of a cent for every stream. And that just sounds crazy when we're talking about people listening to your song. People taking 3 to 5 minutes out of their day to listen to your song, and you're getting a quarter of a penny for it. It sounds crazy, which is why, like, I think as artists, we have to focus on other means of making money, especially for music, because you're like, that money isn't coming anytime soon. For streaming, it already takes like 3 months. So if it's March now, you just now getting December's money. So it already takes super long for that money, for those numbers to even come out, for you to even get that money. And then it's pennies on the dollar. And it's not something reliable for me I don't think for anyone as a smaller artist. With like membership models, it's just recurring revenue, and it doesn't have to be a crazy price. It could just be the $5, $10 a month. If you find your people that are going to give that, it can easily turn into thousands, hundreds of thousands. You don't need that many people to be successful with it. Like the 1,000 true fans concept, if 1,000 people give you $100 over a year, you just made $100,000. So that may look like, 1,000 people are subscribed to your Discord where you talk about the tours that you're doing. You show behind the scenes footage that people don't get on other platforms. You may drop a song there before it goes on other platforms. You may give these people access to your clothes before the drop, before the general public gets access, just because they pay a subscription model. 1,000 people giving you $10 a month for 12 months out of the year ends up in $120,000. And 1,000 people is a lot of people, but it's like, you don't need, not that you don't need $120,000, you don't need that immediately. Because if that's 200 people that give you $10, it's $20,000. That could look like an extra $20,000, $30,000 in your pocket every year off of a couple hundred people that listen to your music or like your clothing, et cetera, et cetera. And it's a lot of money for the art that you were gonna create already. You know what I mean? But like, to get those hundreds, thousands of people, you obviously need a strong online brand and presence. That's super important to me, because I don't trust any of these platforms. People stress that you should get all of your followers, all of your audience to an owned form of media, whether it's like your website or your email list, because like Instagram can go down any day, and it has. Twitter can go down any day, and it has. These apps could just up and change their algorithm like it's nothing. And now like just a couple years ago when you were getting thousands of views on your post, now it's 100. So it's like, it's to me, in my brain, it's not reliable. So I would much rather like a form of ownership where I can control the people that support me, pretty much. Whether that looks like just having their emails and being able to send newsletters or sending text messages, et cetera, et cetera. But being able to get off of the app and contact people directly so that they know Instagram is shut down, you're still making money, you're still selling products, and you're still doing your thing. Having that like strong brand and online presence is gonna look like these social media apps. It is gonna look like you posting consistently every day in order to actually get the people to buy your products, get the people to join your membership or whatever. You have to pretty much give something to draw people in, and then give more on the back end. So it's like, if people are drawn into your videos and then they buy a product, then you're giving them the product, and then something to keep them around, so that it's not just, when you pop up on my feed, I'm supporting you, but like, I'm checking for you. I think some of like the strategies for marketing and promoting your work is kind of giving out free stuff. I think that's what that looks like for a lot of creatives, throwing out something free. Like me and my friends who do like marketing stuff. But like, obviously we all do creative stuff, but we talk about like ebooks and stuff. And I'm just like, bro, just give that away. Like, what do you want to sell an ebook for? Give that away. It's gonna make the ad that's gonna draw people in, because people are gonna want the free. And now you have their emails, you have their contact information, and then you can sell them on everything else, on all the stuff that really is gonna make you money. Versus you trying to sell an ebook for $5, $10, $20, and 2 out of every 200 people buy it. And that's just me exaggerating, but nobody, like, people aren't just gonna buy it versus like, okay, you giving them for free, you giving, them taking, and now you have access to all of their information. So then when it comes out that, oh, boom, you're doing this Discord, you're doing this Patreon or whatever, that's $5, $10 a month. And with that, you get this and that. And people are like, oh yeah, I read the ebook. The ebook changed my life. But the stuff you talked about in the ebook really is set me on another path. You talk about consistency, and I started implementing that stuff, and it works. So now let me see what else you talk about that I can learn. Boom. Now I'm in your Patreon, I'm in your Discord, and I'm paying $10 a month to be in there to learn from you. And it doesn't even have to be anything crazy, or I'm paying $10 a month to be there to listen to you, to watch your behind the scenes videos, to watch the extra stuff that didn't get added to the regular YouTube video. I think we've seen it a lot of times with YouTubers where it's like, oh, there was some crazy stuff that happened, so we can't put it in the YouTube because YouTube's not gonna let that fly. So boom, come to the Patreon, it's gonna be posted there. You pay the $10 for the Patreon, and now you got the extended clips, and now that might look like whatever, you know? But you pay it, and now you're a member, you got the extended clips, you get to see the extra stuff, but you're kind of locked in. And so it means more to you. So yeah, give something away for free to draw an audience, run an ad for that, run an ad for anything really, anything tangible. People say that like ads for music don't really work. I'm not sure. I haven't really dived into it as much as I should when I make music and I work with artists. Usually I think it's better to have a product. Like, so if you're selling vinyls, or if you're selling t-shirts, and with the t-shirts, here's the album, or here's a stream, like get the album on all platforms. Here's a vinyl of the album with the t-shirt. I think it's easier to market those as far as ads go. But run some ads, man. In fact, I challenge you to not think of ads as I boosted this Instagram post, I made an ad on Facebook, but as ways that you can just get directly with your audience, because that might not look like an Instagram or Facebook ad or a Google click ad or whatever. That might look like you paying an account $20 to repost your stuff, because that works for some people. There are like pros and cons to that. There are tips and practices to that. And you should probably just look that up. I really challenge you to think outside the box as far as ads go. I was just talking to somebody I know, and they were talking about getting a billboard out here for a little bit. And I'm like, oh, I don't even know the process of getting a billboard. I'm not sure who to talk to. I'm not sure what the pricing on that is. I genuinely have no idea what that looks like. But that may work for you. That may be the thing that sets you apart from everyone else. When people are driving down the street and you got a billboard with your song on it, and it's like, oh, cool. Let me when I get to the red light, let me put that on to see what that looks like, because this billboard got the cover on it, and the cover looks fire. Yeah, the role of social media is going to play the most pivotal role just because of the society that we're in. Just consistently post. Figure out what you need to post. Figure out what everybody else is posting and post that. Consistently post. Give somebody a reason to come off of the app to indulge in your work. It's like we were talking about owned media, like you own your email list, you own your website. Give somebody a reason to come from Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, or whatever, to a platform that you have control over. Whether that's like, oh, your website to buy a product, your website to download your free ebook that they gotta give you their email and name and phone number to get. Give somebody a reason to come off of the app and interact with you, and then it'll make more sense if they're not just interacting with you on the app. It'll make more sense if, oh, I signed up for the ebook and I like the ebook now. They sent me an email. I wondered, let me see what's in that. Let me read about that. Let me see what that had, like, that's how that can help me. Let me lock in with it. I think that's the hardest thing to do sometimes, to transition from the app to somewhere else. Like, there are videos of this podcast that go up to thousands of views, and that doesn't necessarily look like, oh, people are clicking the link and then going to YouTube to watch the podcast, or they're going to Apple Music, or I guess Apple Podcast, Spotify, whatever, to listen to the podcast. Yeah, it doesn't always reflect, like the 1,000 views on these TikTok videos doesn't necessarily reflect people going and listening to the full episode of the podcast, which you should do if you're locked in. You should listen to it. But they don't accurately reflect each other, because getting 1,000 views on Instagram is cool, but it's not gonna make you money as soon as possible. Versus you getting 1,000 views and those 1,000 views turning into 500 streams. Those 500 streams turning into I don't know what is it, $2-3 or whatever. But it adds up. Like, I give people a reason to come off of these social media apps and indulge in your content. I think another way to monetize your content is to, collaborate with brands, with other artists, with businesses that align with your creative vision and values. That may just look like you doing photography gigs for corporate clients, but it's money in that. So it's like it's money in that. Where do you need to go to find these people? Who are these people for you? Something slept on for artists is LinkedIn. I know so many artists that are on LinkedIn that are eating, because it's like artists don't usually use it, because I guess LinkedIn is kind of seen as like a real professional, like, oh, we're talking about jobs. But something that all of these companies need is headshots for their employees on their website. It may be video stuff, it may be social media stuff. And if you do video and you can format it for social media, boom, that's a job. If you take pictures and you can do a headshots on a white background, boom, you just got a job. Like, if they're trying to do events and, oh, you host events because you're a DJ and you whoop-de-whoop, boom, 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 you just got a job. Just by being on LinkedIn and being able for them to connect with you when because they can go on LinkedIn and go, oh, I'm looking for a photographer. Search up photographer, and you pop up at the top of the list because you set your LinkedIn up right. So it's like, oh, here's a photographer in my city. When I click on their profile, this is what they work for. Here are some of their pictures. Oh, the pictures are fire. Let's go with that. Turn up on LinkedIn, figure out what you need to do on LinkedIn for your craft, for your creative field, to really go as far as you can. And just from there, you can turn that into just another way that you grab clients, because that can just look like you finding your target audience, you looking for the corporate clients for your photography, following them on LinkedIn, sending them a message, oh, boom, I do this. And I know that you do these events, I do event photography. Can we talk about what you guys need for that, et cetera, and lock in. Speaking of getting jobs when it comes to creative stuff, just some tips for setting your prices, for negotiating, just to ensure that you're getting paid fairly for your work, is double it. Double it. Whatever you think that you deserve, double it, quadruple it, damn near. Double it, unless you can just ask these people, unless people give you an idea of what the budget is, bro, go hard or go home. Like, these take some time to evaluate what you think your art should cost. And that doesn't necessarily just look like what it costs to make, plus you getting some money on the side. That looks like what do you need to be full-time at this? Okay, so if I want to be a full-time photographer, and that looks like a photo shoot a week for a corporate client, but I got these bills, and I want not necessarily I want to live like this, because I don't want you to be like, to go in there, oh yeah, I need $20,000 for photography, even though there are people charging quadruple that. But I don't want you from the start to just go in and throw out a crazy number. But evaluate what you need for your life personally, and pick your numbers from that. And the number that you think is crazy is not crazy whatsoever. I promise you. Because there are people that are charging 10 times that amount. Like, I've met some photographers that work with the biggest of the biggest brands. And it's like, oh, this shoot, they paid me $50,000. Not the shoot, the whole shoot may cost $100,000 with just the budget for everything, but I got paid $50,000 personally. And that'll look like, oh, this is just my funds. There's a camera rental because this is my camera. You're not providing a camera, so boom, I'm renting a camera. I'm renting my camera for your shoot. Just so many things that you can tack on, just to continue getting money. And I don't want to seem like, oh, we're super money hungry, but like you should get the money that you deserve. And that often looks like, for most creatives, that often looks like double, triple, quadruple what you think you deserve. The number is not kind of crazy. I don't even feel like you should throw it out. I feel like if it's super crazy, it's like, all right, maybe you should evaluate like what the budget is, who you talking to, do they got that? But if it just seems a little bit crazy, throw that out. And like, it's a negotiation. You're open to negotiations, obviously. You're a creator. Throw out the 5,000, the 10,000, the 2,500 that you think is kind of crazy, and see what these people say. People are like, oh, we normally charge 2,000 for it, but you throw out 2,500, but you normally don't even get 1,000 for the shoot, for the event or whatever. And you're like, oh, now you at 2,000. What we learned: figure out the price that works best for you. Go with it. Even if it feels a bit crazy. I think that like the idea of you turning your creative passion into a business isn't so that you are taking 20,000 photos every month. It isn't you trying to make a song every week. It looks like you making more quality and less quantity in the end goal. Like you don't want to have to keep producing because you're gonna run out of energy. You're gonna run out of thoughts, ideas. You want to be able to produce less and make more. So obviously you got to keep turning your price up. You got to get your price right based on your quality of work, based on where you're at. Keep turning it up. At some point you need 250,000 to pick your camera up now. But at some point you should be at the craziest of the crazy number, because there are so many people that are there that are, oh, I may do this once or twice a quarter, but I'm making 150,000 a year off of it, just because it's like I figured out the clients that I want to work with, and they have this kind of budget, and so I know I don't need to work with too many of them so I can just make the quality content for the few of them that I work with. I probably could have brought this up earlier, but there are just the pros and cons of working with different platforms, whether that's like Etsy, Redbubble, Amazon, or whatever. Obviously, the pros are convenience for people. Like people often are going to have the Amazon and the Etsy account just so that it's convenient for them. But at the same time, I'm like really just doubling down on the fact that you should own your means. Like you should own your means of sales, whether if that's your website and your email list, you should own that. You know, these platforms, they're super good when you're starting out, but it should definitely eventually journey into just you on your own. Or like these platforms are which you're kind of using to just get some money here and there. Like it doesn't, like you're doing graphic designing on Fiverr, but you're just doing some small stuff, just like, oh, you can keep 1,000 in your pocket every month just by doing some small graphic design stuff on Fiverr. That's cool. But then I'd like that to transition into, oh, this person has worked with you once. Okay, then they went back and hired you twice. Okay, what does that look like with them just calling you, or them emailing you and not going through Fiverr or through a mediary or a middleman, and then pretty much cutting 15, 20, 25% of your money off just to give to these companies? How can they go from going through these companies to locking in with you directly? Just some common challenges that you as a creative may face when trying to monetize your content, and how you can overcome them are pretty simple. Like, it's hard. Like it's kind of hard to convince people to like your vision on things. And when you're starting out, people don't know you. Why would they trust your vision? Why would they give you this crazy amount of money for this painting? Why would they pay for this shirt? You know, but it's like, it's a challenge, but it's something that's overcomable. Like it's something that you can convince these people. I think you have to figure out what language that looks like for you, what you need to do to fix your bounce rates when it comes to creative stuff, to fix your, people are just DMing me to ask me how much the painting is. Nobody's trying to buy it. Okay, can you just post the price? And then people won't have to DM you. They'll know the price, and the people that can afford it will DM you, and the people that can't won't DM you. And then boom, that eliminates that problem. Doesn't necessarily end up in you getting a sale, but it eliminates the crazy, you dealing with people constantly and not getting any sales. It's not gonna be easy. At no point is it gonna be easy starting from scratch and building a community of people who care about you and what you're doing. You just have to give them a reason to care, but it'll never be easy. Like, it'll never be easy. Even when it gets to the point where you're a household name and you don't even have to do any crazy stuff because you might be getting just straight word of mouth, it'll still have its challenges when it gets there. It'll never be easy, but it'll always be worth it. I think just honestly, just being consistent, just being consistently you and consistently fulfilling your vision, consistently fulfilling your customers' visions or your clients' visions when you're working with them, and consistently bringing the high quality output that you have. It's like, it's no way that you do things well and it doesn't work in the end. You know what I mean? If you can make sure that you can check off all the boxes and you do everything you need to well to get you out there, it's going to work. That's all for today. Thank you for tuning in to Outside the Art. Again, my name is Hasim. On any of these platforms that you may be listening to the podcast or watching the podcast on, you may be able to give us a rate, a like, a share, a follow, or a subscribe. Please do all of those, or at least pick 2 to 3 of them. You know, if you don't like the video, at least subscribe and share it. You know, if you don't share the video, at least like it and subscribe. If you don't subscribe, you probably should subscribe, because week after week, we're going to be constantly giving you good content. Honestly, I think one of these days I'm going to have to talk about burnout. Like, I have been trying to do so much just in this last week that I almost didn't even make this episode this week. And it's like, if I didn't already have an idea of what I wanted the episode to be when I got down here, I probably wouldn't have. It's like I said, it's not easy. It is hard, but it's worth it in the end. I think one of the next episodes have definitely got to be burnout. Also, in the next few episodes, I'm definitely going to be interviewing somebody. I have a few ideas. I won't say any names because I don't know which will come first. And I don't want you to get it in your head like, oh, boom, he said this person, and I love that person. When is that interview going to come? And it doesn't even come for 3 episodes. But thank you for tuning in to Outside the Art. Like, share, subscribe, follow on the social platforms. Turn your notifications on every platform so that you never miss an upload, you never miss a drop. There's a bright future for us in this podcast. There's a bright future for me and you, especially you, because you're taking all of this knowledge that I'm giving you. And this is like the basic stuff. When it's just me talking, this is the basic stuff. These are deep dives, but it's like literally the basic stuff that I can fit into a 20, 30-minute video. But you're taking notes, you're taking notes, you're going home after listening to this, and you're going through the notes and you're categorizing them, and you're waking up tomorrow and you're implementing everything that I'm saying so that you can turn your passion into some profit and some moolah. And once you do turn your passion into some profit, if you want to send me a couple dollars, I won't say no. That's all I'm saying. Thank you for tuning in to Outside the Art. See you next week. Bye.